Chip Brown 247. Chip Brown 247 on Twitter, 24/7 Sports with us now. What is up, Chip? How are you?
What's going on, fellas?
Not a whole lot. Heading back to your homeland this weekend up in the great state of Michigan for the Big House. When you were growing up, where in Michigan did you grow up?
Tell me you're an upper peninsula guy.
I'm from Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. Did you go to the Big House a lot as a kid?
I mean, my parents were season ticket holders
wow.
at Michigan. So fall Saturdays, Pops and I'd get in the car. He'd make me listen to recordings of Bob Ufer, the famed play-by-play guy for Michigan football. And we would go to the Big House, section 43, row 68, seats 24 and 25. And, for people who've been to the Big House, they know it's a bowl, and it's 96 rows, and there's no upper deck. I mean, it's just a big old bowl.
Will you go find those seats Saturday just to reminisce a little bit? I mean, that'd be pretty cool, Chip.
That would be wild. I don't usually work that hard to go anywhere other than the press box.
That's my man.
Especially when game day is there. Like, people are like, are you going to go to game day? I'm like, no, I'm not going to game day.
Chip's got plenty of memories of seeing the stadium from the outside and from the overview of the press box.
I was going to make it a sentimental moment for Chip. He's like, oh, no, I am not getting out of the press box. It's going to be hot out there.
Hey, it'll be sentimental just walking up to that place.
Okay.
And hey, if anyone's going to the game, make sure you're in your seats 30 minutes before, because when you see the rolling Block M of the Michigan marching band playing "Hail to the Victors," it's one of the cool moments in college football.
Best fight song in college football for you?
USC.
Oh,
it's USC.
No, it's Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan as well. And Notre Dame is second, USC third.
Please.
So, Chip, we were talking about Alabama's dominant performance in Kalen DeBoer's debut, and we prefaced it by saying it's Western Kentucky. Well, it's Colorado State, but still 52-0. This is a Colorado State offense that averaged 307 passing yards. They were held to 74 passing yards. You mentioned, my fear was what we've seen with Florida State. Can Sarkisian really replace? We know they're talented, but can they be playmakers with all the production they lost? And at least through week one, they answered it. I mean, all 4 touchdown catches were made by transfers. Ryan Wingo leads Texas with 4 grabs, 70 yards. I mean, these are names, if you aren't a Texas fan, you're not used to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they were kind of keeping Silas Bolden, the Oregon State transfer, in their back pocket. I think he could play a big role in this game against Michigan. He's got that really good short area quickness, good in space. I think the big thing for the Texas offense, last year they struggled to finish red zone trips with touchdowns. They were 7 of 7 on, touchdowns in the red zone. And that's going to be tough to do against Michigan. I mean, that Michigan defense is legit. And this is where Quinn Ewers, who went up to Alabama last year, played great, showed he could play elite. Alabama cuts it to 3 with 11 minutes to play. Ewers leads a 7-play, 75-yard drive for a touchdown, and Alabama never scores again. And Ewers, came back to get those extra starts at the college level. Sarkisian told him, you get 30 starts in college, you tend to have a better transition to the NFL. Well, this, like the Alabama game, this Michigan game is full of playmakers on that defense. This is what it's going to be like. To some degree in the NFL, he needs to show he can navigate this Michigan defense and help lift his team in a hostile road environment.
Okay, if I don't know if you remember, but over 500 yards receiving for Isaiah Bond for a season, and I buy you a steak. You're trending in a good direction. He did get 61 yards, but was Isaiah Bond what you thought he would be so far? He did get targeted more than I thought he was going to get targeted.
Yeah, no, he dropped a 3rd and 13 pass.
Yeah,
he had a couple drops actually, but I think he's kind of settling in. I mean, he's definitely wide receiver 1 right now. Let's see how things play out. I mean, they're super talented. Ryan Wingo, who you mentioned, this guy is going to be special, kind of like that Ryan Williams guy for Alabama. They've got some young talent too, in addition to these transfers. So I think I think Sark likes his playmakers. Jaden Blue, the running back, is really, really good in space, but he showed he could break tackles. I mean, he broke 7 tackles against Colorado State. So let's see how much Sark runs between the tackles against this Michigan defensive line, and how much he tries to he's a great screen game guy, and let's see how he navigates this Michigan defense.
Chip Brown is with us. Chip Brown 247 on Sports 24/7, or on Twitter 24/7 Sports is who Chip is with. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I don't know that they would admit that they were even looking ahead, even though we know this happens. Do you think Texas coaches are surprised they're not facing Alex Orji Saturday and instead facing Davis Warren?
I think they're expecting to play both, but yeah, it was. I mean, if you watch the Michigan-Fresno State game, a lot of people were watching the Notre Dame Texas A&M game. But yeah, the Michigan quarterback situation needs to get cleaned up fast. They didn't have much rhythm. I mean, they scored a touchdown on their first possession, and then they didn't score another touchdown until there were 5 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. So they basically went 3 quarters kicking field goals. And the field goal kicker they brought in from Arkansas State, Dominic Zavada, wow, 45, 53, 55 yards on the field goals. Pretty impressive. But the fact that Michigan had to settle for that long of field goals, their offense needs to figure some things out, because Texas's defense is really fast. They're deep, and I think they're going to be able to get some pressure on whoever's back there.
Yeah, I think Jordan Travis to DJU is a pretty bad downgrade. We've seen that with the 0-2 start. But I think even worse is J.J. McCarthy to Davis Warren. I really think that is a bigger drop in talent. Anyway, with that said, Arch Manning gets to play for Texas this past week. I mean, the numbers were there. How did you think he looked overall?
Well, first play, he throws a 40-yard strike to Jonte Cook. That looked really good. And then, he hits that little flip pass to Silas Bolden for a touchdown. He just looks comfortable. He looks aware. He's seeing the field. He looks like he's ready to contribute if he gets in. Did you all see the Dr. Pepper Fansville commercial where Bosworth's asking Deputy Quinn Ewers for backup, and Ewers is like, we don't need backup, even if he has great hair and famous relatives.
So good.
That is really good. Well written.
Does it get tiresome, though, having to always have that bullet point for your fans or that storyline? Because he's really not a huge factor of this season, but it feels like fans are interested in him. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement, but Sark has done a really good job of managing that room, and Ewers and Manning are buddies. Ewers flew Manning to the Manning Passing Academy on his private jet hours that he has through his NIL deal with Nicholas Air.
Is there a chance Manning got on and said, ours are bigger?
Yeah, not that Arch needs help, but I'm sure Quinn was happy to say, "Hey, man, I can give you a lift."
That is, the world of college football.
I know. When I started, Chip, they had to go to the local Goodwill to find a sports jacket to wear to road games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy where things are right now.
Yeah.
So I know as much as Texas enjoyed the win, how much did Texas fans enjoy Texas A&M's performance Saturday night?
Woo, man, that
was surprising.
Yeah, Connor Wigman and Colin Klein. I was curious how it was going to go, because obviously Colin Klein was the quarterback crash test dummy in the quarterback run game of Bill Snyder, and we know that he's worked with dual threat guys like Will Howard, and so they've got a lot to fix. Connor Wigman didn't look good. He didn't look comfortable. The offense was, it was like watching a 12-year-old learn to drive a stick shift. So A&M's defense pretty good, but the offense got to get it going.
All right, Chip, safe travels to Michigan. Enjoy it at the Big House Saturday, and we'll look forward to talk to you again soon.
Can you believe it's only the second time these two iconic programs have ever
It's crazy.
I saw that as a stat this morning that Texas leads 1-0. Where was that meeting? Was it a Cotton Bowl or?
It was a Rose
It
Bowl.
was the Rose Bowl
that's
from
right.
the 2004 season.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
Texas
insane.
won it on a last-second field goal after Vince Young ran for 182 yards and 4 touchdowns.
So they've never played in the regular season. This is it.
That's right.
Yep.
First ever regular season meeting.
Insane.
Horns247.com and Chip and Zay every afternoon, 1 to 3. Follow Chip on Twitter for all of that at Chip Brown 247. Thank you, Chip. Good talking with you.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, buddy. Take care. Chip Brown with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.